Welcome to the Poundcast. Brent, we have a great show today for our Pound Pimples who are listening. We have Nick Mullen,
Nick Mullen. Nick Murray.
Nick Murray. Okay, let's start it over. Nick Mullen. Well, Boston guys named Nick, I don't know.
Is Nick Mullen from Boston? I thought he was from Austin.
I don't know. He seems like it. Who knows?
I think he was based
Nick
in
Murray.
Austin.
Here we go. In 3. Welcome to the Poundcast. We have a great show today with Nick Murray of Fancy Lad Skateboards, my favorite. Well, I can't really say favorite, but I have many favorite skateboard companies, and they're up there. Trust me. They're one of my favorites. They make some of the best skateboard videos ever. Check out Fancy Lad. Look them up on YouTube. We're going to talk to Nick.
But first, let's just say this.
Yeah, but first, let's say this.
This episode is brought to you in part by Louisville Vegan Foods.com. They have vegan jerky there if you're into that kind of thing. And you can be into that kind of thing very easily by going to LouisvilleVeganFoods.com or finding their products at stores like Whole Foods and Sprouts and maybe even Target. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you something about Louisville Vegan Jerky. It is 100% meatless jerky. No, it's jerky. And it is bagged in the United States, and it has a shelf life of 9 months, soon to be more. And they have lots of different flavors, such as Carolina barbecue and
Brent, I'm logged into the site right now. Yeah, that's right. They have sesame gochujang,
but
which I always pronounce that wrong. My friend says I'm saying it wrong, but that is it's a Korean flavor, I believe. They have man sweet chili teriyaki.
And one day there's going to be a Poundcast flavor too.
Yeah, we're working on that. We're going to go to the test kitchen and we're going to work that out. They got maple bacon. Smoky Carolina barbecue. You probably mentioned that one.
Here's the catch. Can I? There's always a catch, right?
There's always a catch. What's the catch?
All good things. There's always a catch.
Sounds too good to be true.
The catch is, if you use the code word Poundcast when you order on that site, you don't get 10% off. No.
What?
You get 20% off.
Oh.
Okay. So that's the catch. The catch is you don't get the typical 10% off. You get 20% off. You get 20% off.
No.
And
yeah. Yes, way.
And that's an amazing discount that it's unheard of.
Yeah, and it's only available to you, our Pound Pimples, our Poundcast listeners. So go to LouisvilleVeganFoods.com and
hit him with that
code word Poundcast. Get yourself a discount. They are our sponsor. If you also want to help us out, you could subscribe to our Patreon page, patreon.com/Poundcast. And if you do that, you get bonus material. Today we talked to Nick for a long time after the main episode. So the main episode that you're listening to now, it's free. Go subscribe to our Patreon page.
Write a good review on it on Apple Music or whatever. Write a good review if you like that.
If you have a good review of it.
If you have a good
we talked to
opinion
Nick about a lot. We listened to a lot of.
We talk about skateboarding.
We talked about music that gives us goosebumps in the after dark, and that is only available if you go to patreon.com/Poundcast.
Yeah, we play some tracks and really get into it, and we have some laughs, and we get some goosebumps. We both get goosebumps at one point. I show them if you want to see video of my goosebumps, you can also go to patreon.com/Poundcast. And if you subscribe at the entry level, you can see video of the After Dark where you get to see this arm just popping with goose, just bumps, just bumping.
Absolutely, Brent. And well, look, without further ado, just a little more ado. Let's get it. What's the last thing?
One last thing. If you want to see video of the regular episode, you can see that for free at youtube.com/thepoundcast. And you can also, there's highlight clips there as well. And also there's an Instagram account that's the Poundcast, and also a Twitter account, the Poundcast. And yeah,
Thank you, Brent.
Doug and I have separate accounts too. You know, Doug Pound. That's 2 G's. DOUG.
On YouTube?
What?
Are you talking about YouTube?
I'm talking about everything on Instagram, Twitter.
Well, yeah, I assume everyone's following us there, but maybe they're not.
Maybe they're not. We never mention it. You know.
Yeah, I'm Doug Pound with 2 G's on everything. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube.
Yeah. As for me, I mean, I'm Brent Weinbach on Twitter and YouTube, but on Instagram, it's Brent Weinbach Comedy because somebody had taken Brent Weinbach already, I guess.
Now, today, we have another remix of the theme song that our Patreon subscribers have been remixing for us. That's another perk of the Patreon page. You get the stems to make your own remix. And we have a really cool one. This is the Mosh Pit remix from Connor Kinsman. Is that what we're going to listen to?
That's right. Connor Kinsman's got this punk, kind of mosh punk Poundcast remix. And that's what we'll be hearing on this one. Yeah.
All right, let's take a listen, then we'll get
This is a new take on the Poundcast theme song.
This is something different. You know I like that, Brent.
I know you like something different.
I like something different. All right, let's roll the clip, and then we'll talk to Nick. How about that?
Sounds right.
Right about now. Peace. Roll the clip.
Roll it.
Roll it. And welcome to the Poundcast. I have my hibiscus iced tea that I just brewed. What do you think about that, Nick?
Nice. It's an herbal tea. You know, you don't want too much caffeine at this hour. You'll be up all night.
I think caffeine has been driving me crazy lately. It's I used to love chugging coffee all day. I think something happened where my body, when I have too much caffeine, I start to go taco loco.
Start to
crazy.
Start to go local.
Yeah. Don't you know I'm crazy, SA? Don't you know I'm local in your area code?
Don't you know I'm local?
Don't you know I'm local? Did anyone do that parody?
We did it. We did it on the show.
We did?
Yeah.
Dude, I don't even remember our own bits. We have so many bits.
Oh, I thought, yeah, it was like a call. I thought Nick was calling back to that.
No, that was a classic from the Murray family growing up.
Oh, it was. Wow. So people were always parroting that all the time.
Yeah.
Don't you know I'm grown local?
Well, welcome to the Poundcast, Nick Murray from Fancy Lad skateboard fame.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you. It's an honor and a privilege here.
I've been trying to get you on the show for decades now, and we finally got you. So I'm psyched.
Have you? Because my phone's been open. I haven't heard from you at all.
Well,
he's been trying to get himself to call you. You know,
right?
When he says I've been trying to get you, he's been trying to motivate himself to make that call.
I've been trying to get up the courage to ask you to be on the show.
A lot of swallowing of the pride. I get it.
Absolutely not. Barfing of the pride.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
So I don't know where to begin here. Brent and I have some random things to talk about, but we're going to do a blend of interviewing you a little bit and just talking about things that we have on our mind. And you can chime in too.
Weigh in on it.
This is like Poundcast style. That's just kind of like what we're going to do. But Nick, you started your own skateboard company, and you have, in my opinion, the best skate vids in the biz.
The block.
On the block.
On the block.
They're just so fun. If anyone hasn't seen these, I'm in a few of them.
It's true.
First of all, you got to watch just for me. I think I blew it. I think I sent you the first one I was in, I was on tour and I was sending you some random clips of. I was trying to skateboard like a cardboard box without a skateboard or something. I don't remember. Anyway,
Yeah, you were in the first one was Is This Skateboarding, which is our quintessential one when anybody comes up to me and they say, "Oh, I love your skate videos," they always mention that one. So you kind of kicked it off by just, even having that little intro on stage with the the delayed mic saying, "Is this skateboarding?"
oh yeah, that's right. I was on tour with Tim and Eric, and I was sound checking, and you told me what the title of the skate video is, and I had Mikey film me just saying that while we were sound checking with through some delay, and it made it to the video.
It made the
So
cut.
now, I want to know how does somebody start a skateboard company? Where did this all begin?
Oh my God. Well, first you make skate videos for 10 years and then you realize that you're never going to be sponsored by any other company. So you decide to start your own. And
I mean, that's how it goes in the comedy business. And you could pitch TV show ideas to networks for 10 years and you realize they're not going to say yes.
yeah.
You got to just make your own.
You could
Yeah,
be
I guess-
doing
Right, Brent?
you could be doing jokes for 10 years and then you realize those other comedians whose jokes you're doing, they're never going to allow you to do that. So you got to start writing your own.
Well, you could be doing jokes for
That's a
years.
good point.
You could be doing jokes for 10
Okay.
years and realize no one's going to laugh. So you got to laugh at your own jokes. You know what
You
I
got
mean?
to sample laughter from somewhere else. And
Yeah, you
play
have to
them.
bring. That's what I did. I bring my
Right.
own laughter.
Kind of like the
Thank you,
same thing. It's kind of like the same thing, only instead of a laugh track, I just had this little bubble of friends to, laugh at,
And
what we were doing.
I also think it's like really interesting. I don't know what's going on. You're in Boston, right?
Yep. You visited
I
me.
know. I'm just for the people who don't know. I visited, but
Yeah.
for those who don't know,
Boston, Massachusetts. That's right.
yeah. The whole scene you have there is like very very different, I would say. Very unique. Like you have the Orange Man.
Mhm.
There's a guy that wears only orange, Brent.
I met him.
Yeah, we
That's
met
right.
him at the show. And he,
Trump. It's Trump.
he makes
Trump
Yeah.
is in their group.
Yeah.
He's in
No,
Fancy Lad.
he makes these like crazy contraptions out of skateboards. He's like, piecing things together and making spring-loaded. He does, whatever, homemade contraptions, I guess. What would you call that? Is that a name to that style?
We call them manipulations. And they
you
just
do some too, and so does Matt Tomasello, right?
Yeah, I mean, Matt Tomasello has really taken the torch there, and he's become the guy. But with all those Matt Tomasello on bath salts, Rodney Mullen on bath salts videos that blew up. But
Yeah.
I mean, I started doing it, but I couldn't keep up with how prolific they were, so I just gave up. I was like,
Well-
I'm gonna let you guys have this.
But who's
But
the
we-
first? Who's the first one to make a contraption board?
But we shortened it to Manips, so that's what we
Yeah.
call it now. But
Right.
the first one to make a contraption board, it was actually our rider originally from the UK, Jesse James, and then Abe started doing it, Orange Man, after that, and then Matt Tomasello. But Jesse was doing it because of inspired by Simon Woodstock.
Yeah, I was gonna say I remember seeing Simon Woodstock in the magazines making weird skateboards.
Yeah.
So it's a long tradition that you guys have like taken to the next level.
It's a long tradition, but I mean, the tradition was only being done by one guy. So we kind of, and his stuff was very rudimentary. It was like a spring on a board or, just a skin board with trucks on it. So Matt's taken it to a crazy level with hinges and shit popping out of God knows where.
Okay, so let's get back to the interview. So
Yeah.
That was part of the interview.
I know. Well, all I'm saying is like there's something going on with like all the skaters in your scene are like so unique. Like what's up with that? Are you the guy that like inspired everyone to? How did that happen? Or you don't even know? It just naturally happened.
Yeah, I don't even know. It was it's kind of a little mix of, I mean, I was hanging out with it's all of my friends pretty much at the beginning, like they're either artists or went to art school and skated, and obviously none of them were as good as, like I was saying, none of them were as good as like good enough to be sponsored by an actual company, you know. So I think it's just one of those things where you start and the everyone is kind of a unique character to begin with, but then you start feeding off of each other's energy by that you're actually like doing something, and then so everybody wants that glory of having a part in the video, essentially.
So you live. How many people live in your house? You have like a compound.
Yeah, the compound. We're trying to take it over. There's 3 houses, but we've only have 2 of them. In my house, there's 5 people that live in it, and Matt Tomasello lives next door with one of our newest riders, Sam. We call him the Scribbler, and yeah, he just snapped his arm. Actually, shout out to Sam. But yeah, so I guess there's 7 altogether in the compound as of right now, but we're trying to expand.
So when you said you did skate videos for 10 years,
Mhm.
during that 10 years, were you not doing any of these sort of comedic videos that you guys do and these camera trick kind of videos and stuff? Were they just straight ahead? For 10 years, you were just doing kind of straight ahead skate videos?
Yeah.
Or were you kind of doing some of the comedic kind of whimsical stuff?
No, for the first 10 years, it was like really trying to stay within the tradition of a skate video. There were like hints of it here and there with like the footage that you'd see in between parts, because that's like the stuff that people are most attracted to, like just the spontaneity of something funny happening on the session that wouldn't go into somebody's part but would end up either after the credits, or we would always put it in between the parts so that you would see like little glimpses of it, but it wasn't as prevalent as it is now.
Did you start? When did you decide to start going in that direction of having these kind of trick camera things and all that stuff, the editing and everything?
Yeah. It kind of progressed to that because we'd always been drawn to creative skating and just something that you hadn't seen before. We're all about what they refer to as NBDs, never been dones. And then it just kept going even more with the skate trick selection into the editing. And like the first video we kind of just completely put out and weren't trying to impress anyone. We're actually trying to actually irritate people that this video existed, because I mean, we didn't care if people thought it was unwatchable. We just thought it was funny, making people kind of sit through this sort of, it's almost like a piss take of a video. And then after that, it just slowly started to progress and actually get better and better with the skating.
Do you during that time how did you make money to pay rent? You got a day job?
Yeah, no, I still have a day job now. But I was always working in food service for the whole time. Before that, me and Eric were telemarketing actually in high school. But after that, I was working in food service for almost 10 years. And I just recently got out of it and got a job working at the airport.
What do you do at the airport?
Baggage. I work on the ramp. I help park the plane. I'm one of those guys with the wands bringing the planes in.
Oh, really? You're out on the tarmac doing that?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
I want
amazing.
to know. I want to know more.
Headphones on?
I want to know more about that.
Yeah, they make us wear those.
Can you wear earbuds inside the headphones and listen to your own podcast? Listen to some Poundcast?
They actually have strict rules at the airport, believe it or not.
Oh
So-
yeah. Oh yeah.
I
Can
would
you-
like to do that, but I definitely would get in trouble.
Can you hear? You can hear through those headphone things, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can hear noise, but it just deafens the noise.
It's just quieter.
That's just because there's some loud noise out there.
Yeah, at first it's really tough to hear what anybody's saying, but after a while it gets so used to it. You can like hear everybody crystal clear, and you just, it's just so you don't have the ego deaf by the high volume of the engines of the planes and etc.
Is that a fun job at all, or is it a job that you don't like doing?
Sometimes it depends on the day. Sometimes it's a fun job, and I get so much downtime. I started to make my own music during my downtime, and I thought that was great. But some days when you're working out there and it's snowing and raining and the rain's going in your eyes and it's so busy and you're breaking your back inside the airplane bins, it's really not fun. It's a difficult job. It's really hard labor, and going in the airplane bins is the worst because I'm a tall guy and it really, really fucks up my back.
Oh, you got to lean over to get in the bins
You gotta wear knee pads and you gotta crawl on all fours.
to get in the airplane.
Yeah, where they store the luggage underneath where everyone's sitting.
Really? You got to crouch down to get in there? I thought it would be like above your head, like the planes are tall.
No. They put them underneath, and you never see the guys roll
But
up.
don't
with the
they do it
belt
from?
loader?
Don't the big door open from the outside, and it's kind of like taking groceries out of a station wagon?
Yeah, except you crawl on all fours to get in there.
I didn't know that. I can't see.
Yeah.
Do you ever slide down the ramps and stuff?
I guess the only ramp is the belt loader,
Yeah.
which
You
is
ever
the
get-
little conveyor belt.
You ever get on that thing?
Maybe for a second, but that's a safety hazard.
Right.
You can get written up for this stuff. That's the thing. You get written up doing anything at the airport.
But it's got to pay pretty good, though, right?
It doesn't. I took such a pay cut.
Really?
Food service, yeah, because I was making $10 in tips and per hour extra, but I convinced myself it was time for a change, like an idiot, and I convinced myself that the free flights would be worth it, but I don't know if they are. I mean,
So you got free flights?
yeah, but you can get a credit card and build up Sky points and get free flights. You don't have to work a job at the airport.
Have you
Imagine
been
that.
Can
Have
you
you
can
been-
you fly anywhere you like from any airline, or is it only one specific airline?
Yeah, I could fly from any airline, but the one I work for is the only one that I can fly completely free. I haven't tried flying the other ones, but I think you get like a little fee for flying on another airline.
So those guys don't work. They work for the airline, not the airport. You kind of guys.
Yeah, exactly. If you work for the airport, I don't think that you get free flights. I just think you get
Have you-
a crummy job at the airport. But you have to
Have you
work
been
for an
taking
airline.
advantage of these free flights?
I've gone to 4 places. I got to New York City,
Big Apple.
4 hours away from Boston.
You flew there?
It's an hour flight.
Okay.
Washington, D.C.
Capital.
Yeah, capital.
Capital
Gotta
Hill.
love it.
Capital, got to give it up for Obama.
Gotta love it. I went there for the politics, and
Gotta give it up for Reagan.
I went back to New York because I said Big Apple, Big Snapple, didn't get enough the first time. Got to go back. And then I went to Seattle
Ah, the Heschers, where all the Heschers are.
because I
Did
love
you-
Frasier. You
Right.
know.
Did you
Frasier,
not
for-
go
oh,
to
for Frasier.
Chicago?
Oh wait, no, I did just fly to Chicago. That was the last one I just went to. So yeah, I went to visit Matt King at Carroll Stream in Chicago. And,
The Windy City.
Oh yeah, the winds of change.
I'm going to Chicago tomorrow.
Right, because you're from Chicago.
Exciting stuff, huh?
Yeah.
How'd you like it?
It was raining a lot of the time I was there, but
He hated
it
it.
was all right. It was all right. We went to this place called the Cheese Factory and we jammed.
Oh yeah, the Cheesecake Factory. They got them in Los Angeles too.
So I want to hear about. First of all, I like your new music project, and when I first heard the song on one of your videos, I was like, I like this music. Who is this? And I followed it, and then you were like, "Thanks for the follow, Nick." And I was like, "Wait, you make this music?"
Yeah.
Remember that? And you
Yeah.
said it was pure.
I don't remember saying that it was pure.
Well, you said something about like my follow. It wasn't
right. It wasn't a pity follow.
It wasn't a pity follow. It wasn't like, oh, that's his music, I better follow it.
Yeah.
Because I'm friends. It was a mysterious group called Mechanical Noose. And I was like, this is really cool. I just followed it naturally because I naturally liked it. And then you were like, haha, it's actually me.
Sucker.
How'd you find it in the first place?
Me?
Yeah.
It was like on a clip he posted, there was music on there. I was like, I like this beat. Whatever this is, I like it. And you say you made some of that at work?
Yeah, I made the whole. I just came out with an album that's on Spotify, and I made the whole thing at the airport. While I was just
like,
because between every plane you get like between like 30 minutes to an hour between every plane when you're waiting for your next plane to unload or onload.
And then how did you make the music?
I'll be right back.
I brought my laptop and just sat in the break room and just went on Ableton and just started clicking away.
That's cool as heck. Look what I got.
Damn, I've seen one of those.
Somebody I posted my PO I posted my PO box on Instagram because somebody once in a while people want to send me stuff, and then they sent me stuff, and then I was like, whoever sent this, thank you. And other people are like, I want to send you something. Anyway, the bottom line is somebody sent me this thing. It's the Teenage Engineering the pocket operator, but this is the Office because they like office hours, so they got me the Office version. And classic. I could play a little bit of it if you want. That's one of the beats I made. Wait, here's another one. Anyway, I don't know. That thing's cool.
It is cool. Are you gonna sample it for any of your DJ Doug Pound beats?
You never know. Maybe I'll take this on the plane and I'll play with it on the plane tomorrow.
Yeah, like I was saying to you, I was, partly inspired by your beats to start even trying to make beats because, my buddy Tony there kept telling me for years that beat making was just like editing. It was just like editing a video. And
yeah, kind of. That's kind of how I do it. I look at it like I'm editing a video. Yeah.
So I thought to myself, I've edited videos. Surely if these other two people who've edited videos can do it, I must be able to do it.
So we can shift gears here, Brent, and talk about some other stuff you want to talk about.
No, whatever. I mean, I guess I do have an observation to share.
I want to ask Nick about flying real quick.
Yeah, hit me.
So do you get scared to fly?
That's actually why I got the job at the airport, was because I've been terrified of flying. And I thought if I was at the airport and I was around these planes all the time and I would see them come in and out and there was never an accident, then I would get more comfortable.
You would see that those planes are not scary monsters after all. They can be your friend.
Exactly.
And did that happen?
Yeah, it actually has been helping because I used to get crazy anxiety if I ever got on a plane, trying to walk out at the last second. But no, I've been chill. Which plane have you grown closest to? Probably the Boeing. And fuck the CRJs. That's all I gotta say. Those are the worst.
The smaller ones that are like 2 seats on either side. Yeah. It's like the smallest possible tube. It's like a needle dick, and they put the engines on the tail like a cock and balls. It's crazy. So the CRJ. I
Well,
flew
no,
one
I
of
just-
those last week. I flew in one of those to Albuquerque.
And what'd you think?
Why don't you like it? I thought it flew fine. It flew.
It flies fine. You just have to work on it to really know how much of a pain in the ass it is for everybody else.
Oh, I see. The luggage and everything. It's a pain in the ass to get.
Oh, it's probably a smaller space for you to crawl in too, right?
Yeah. Well, it's all out of whack. I mean, they have these two smaller bins where you always hit your head in the front, and then you put the last bin right next to the engine, so you feel like you're gonna fall off the belt loader when you're getting in. But enough about my boring job at the airport.
Well, one
All
last
right.
question though: Are you only a Fraser fan? Did you only go to Seattle and because you're a Fraser fan only because Fraser did spend some time in Boston?
Yeah, because it was the pilgrimage from Cheers all the way to Seattle,
Right.
and
You wanted to kind of follow in those footsteps and sort of pilgrimage over there.
exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
makes sense. Cool. And what do you like more, Fraser or Cheers?
Fraser, definitely.
I heard that, brother.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a big Fraser head. I usually that's my go-to when I put on something to go to sleep at night.
Uh-huh.
Well, I got a funny story. I was in Albuquerque last week, and then I was in I drove from there to Colorado. Anyway, I was with my parents, and my parents got my uncle's. We put my uncle in an assisted care facility, I guess you'd call it, assisted living, and so my parents kind of bought his car off of him. It was like a newer car than they had. And he had a license plate that said Top Bear, right? And my sister thought that license plate was funny, so she wanted it. But my parents got new license plates, Colorado plates on it.
Because you think they were talking about Top, who was like a big fat, like hairy guy?
Hirsute Pursuit.
A little bit, something like that, yeah.
I want you thinking cock thoughts. When I tell you to sit down on it, you sit all the way down on it. Now sit.
Anyway, my
Attaboy.
sister wanted that license plate, and we asked my dad, Dad, do you have that license plate anymore? He said, I cut it in half.
Oh.
we were like, why did you cut that license plate? We couldn't believe, like, first of all, that sounds like something difficult to do. Sounds like something unnecessary.
Mhm.
And
3, it's a cool license plate that you would like to have up on
3,
a
it's
wall or
like,
something.
yeah, why don't you just, anyway, we were just flabbergasted. Why would you cut the license plate in half?
Yeah, like it was a credit card or something.
You know what he said? That's because that's just what I do.
He
That's
just
what
cut.
he said.
So he's done it to every license plate that he's ever had.
I don't know. He just didn't have an answer. He's just like, we were just like, why would you do that? We want that license plate. And he goes, that's just what I do. That's a good excuse for like a lot of stuff. If you ever get in trouble,
Yeah.
you could just be
Why?
like, that's just what I do.
Mhm.
Why'd you steal that?
That pack of juicy fruit gum.
Yeah. Why'd you steal that pack of juicy fruit gum? That's just what I do. Then they'll be like,
Oh, okay. Sorry,
oh,
sorry.
okay. Well, I guess I can't really say anything to that.
Well, you were still bummed out about it, weren't you? Or how did you respond to him saying that?
I just started laughing. I thought it was such a funny answer.
Were you bummed though? Did you
Like,
want
that's
that
what
license?
you do?
Did you want to have that on your wall or something?
Is that the only thing he does, or is that one of the many things that he do?
Maybe he was thinking, I'm the top bear,
Well, I think it's a dad thing to do, kind of like cut the credit card, and I don't know, just sort of he's like a thorough kind of covering all the bases, like get all the T's crossed and
get
the
rid
I's
of the body.
dotted.
He's getting rid of the body. He just fully, leaves no trace of the body.
Nick, did you have a DIY skate park in Boston?
Yeah, I did right down the street from my house.
That thing was so
And,
cool.
Thank you. Yeah,
I
that
wanted
was
to skate it. What
yeah.
happened?
Matt built a lot of it. They just tore it down to build, and they built an actual park there, which sucks because we're not good at skating ramps, and yeah, that's why I mentioned my buddy Sam just snapped his arms trying to skate it because I feel like the transitions, even though it's small for like you'll think it's small because you grew up skating ramps, but for us, we only skate like anything below 4 feet.
Yeah, they tore it down and then they put a skate park in. You're saying?
Yeah,
Well, a wooden one or a concrete one?
concrete.
Oh man, why don't they just leave the DIY one? That was so cool.
Yeah, they would have had to resurface the ground anyway though, because all those cracks were terrible. And we were actually the only ones who liked skating it because it was so shitty. I think that's the problem here is that what we like, everybody else hates, and what everybody else likes, we end up hating. So I
Mhm.
think that's why we all hate the new park. But it's fine. It's just a generic skate park that looks like a bowl now. But you like bowls, right?
You know, I like small, shallow stuff too.
Yeah.
I went to the skate park this morning, and I went to it yesterday morning. I thought it was I kind of woke up early and I thought I'm gonna go to the skate park by myself. I got up at like 7 a.m. and I went there at 8 a.m. and there was another, older skater there yesterday.
Mhm.
And today there was like two older guys there. And these guys were like old. They had like gray hair. They were like older guys,
We're talking
And one of them was
50s,
really
60s?
good. He was like in his late 50s or 60s or something. He was good.
Wow,
I was
that's
like,
kind of neat.
this is cool. And he was playing Dead Kennedys.
Wow,
He's
did
like
you
an
talk
old,
to them?
he's like an old
So
punker
he's
from
punk.
the 80s. He's like an
Yeah.
old punker from the 80s, but he was good.
Did you talk to them?
I said hi, and then there was a mouse trapped in the bowl. You know what I mean? The bowl has like a foot of vert, so there's no way it could have gotten out. And I saved it. I put it on my Instagram story if you guys want to watch it.
I'll definitely check that out.
I'll definitely have to check that one out, bro.
Was the punker wearing safety
Yeah.
gear, like a helmet and pads?
Actually, not at all. The other
What was he wearing?
So punk.
the other
So
punker
punk.
had he had like a black punk rock shirt on and pads on. I forgot what shirt it was.
The guy who might have been 60 or in his 60s. What was he wearing?
I mean, I think he was more like 55 to later 50s.
What was he wearing?
Kind of hard to tell. He had like a blue shirt on, shorts, a baseball cap. He looked kind of like a Dodgers fan. It was like a blue Dodgers colored shirt, but I don't know what it said on it. He just kind of like looked like a generic guy, but then he started skating and he was good. He's doing frontside grinds.
Did you think
Dropped
that's
into the
going to be?
bowl.
You think that's going
That's
to be me?
Do you skate, Brent?
No. No.
The whole time I felt bad when we talk about skating with Brent here because I didn't think that you did.
No, I mean, hey, no, I mean, that's what you do. That's just what you do.
That's just what I do.
That's just what you guys do.
what
No,
I
but
do
I mean,
too.
that's what you do. So that's
We don't have to talk about skating anymore. I just, we
we're
covered the
expect-
bases on that. Let's move on. Brent, you had some things written down you wanted to talk about. Let's get to it.
It's expected to hear about it. I will say this. This is an observation I thought I would share with not just you guys, but the listeners as well. And you can weigh in on it. It's not a very funny observation, but I think it's kind of an interesting thing, I think. And we're not just about making people laugh, but also, provoking thought too. Okay. I was at the corner of Sunset and La Brea, and I did talk about this already on my other podcast, the Legacy Music Hour, but I don't think many people listen to that. So I was at La Brea and Sunset, which is an intersection in Los Angeles, very popular intersection, and there was 3 big billboards up that you could see. Those billboards were for Loki, the show Loki, Cruella, okay? You know about Cruella?
Disney.
And Ratched. Those 3 billboards are all the main 3 billboards you could see at this intersection. And I thought, it's really interesting to me how much the popular media celebrates villains and kind of anti-hero kind of people. You know, I mean, Loki, I'm not that familiar with any of those things, but I know Loki's supposed to be sort of a villainous character, or something like that. And, or at least he starts as a villain, and there's some moral ambiguity to him or something like that. Some kind of anti-hero. Cruella DeVille, it's sort of some sort of origin story for Cruella DeVille, and it's a Disney movie, okay?
Mhm.
And then you've got Ratchet, which is about Nurse Ratchet from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and
Right.
it's, I guess, about her. It takes place before the events of that movie, and so my thought is this: it seems as though more than ever, people are able to wrap their heads around and understand complex characters with human flaws. You know, that people are able to sort of understand and accept flawed characters when it comes to fiction. But when it comes to real life people in the world, if those real life people make one mistake, it's over. They treat them like one dimensional cartoon characters or cartoon villains. And I think it's interesting kind of how hypocritical in a way that society sort of does that with the way that cancel culture is right now, and the way that these complicated fictional characters are celebrated. I just thought that was kind of an interesting thought. And even a Disney movie like Cruella, I mean, they did this with Maleficent as well, but adding this human dynamic to these people we knew as classically as villains, why don't people take that approach when it comes to people who are flawed in real life? People are expected to be perfect. Anyway, I just thought that was interesting how there's no leniency when it comes to real people, but fictional characters, oh, they're all about kind of diving into, you know, what makes them so complicated and all that kind of stuff, and that they have redeeming qualities and also, you know, shameful qualities or whatever.
Well, yeah, I think.
Any thoughts?
Hey, that's Hollywood, baby.
Yeah, I mean, well, Brent, I mean, to be devil's advocate, if you're talking about someone like Harvey Weinstein,
No, I'm not. I'm talking about somebody like Roseanne Barr, for example, or something like that, who, I mean, you know, I mean, I don't know, people kind of don't like her politics and stuff, but it was really just one tweet that cost her career, kind of.
yeah,
And it was a tweet that she apologized for and explained where she was coming from on it, and explained, you know, how it went down. And, you know, she got her whole show imagine that your show Roseanne gets changed to the Connors. You get I mean, that's crazy, you know, that. But stuff like that. I'm not talking about people who but actually I am talking about that. I am talking about there are things there people still don't really look. I still think people demonize criminals and are not really. And it's interesting to me because people don't do that with people who serve time as much. I don't know. That's maybe getting a little too serious, but I just think it's interesting how there's this, you know. Anyway, I don't want to repeat myself, but
Didn't Norm even lose his show on Netflix because he like went to bat for Roseanne Barr?
Norm Macdonald.
Yeah, when he had that, it went from Norm Macdonald Live to that like show on Netflix for like one season, and then I swear it just coincided so perfectly when he like defended her that he also like never had another episode on Netflix again. But maybe it's not.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised, I guess. And by the way, flawed characters have always kind of existed in film and stuff, but you know, especially in the '70s, and but you didn't. But now, but then I don't know. There's something about recently where it's really it's mainstream culture is into flawed characters.
It's probably
And
because the Joker.
oh yeah, well, you know, like I said, even Disney movies, Maleficent, and Cruella now, you know. It's interesting. Why not take a more humanistic, or you know, talk about the gray areas when it comes to people, to wrongdoers in real life, I think, you know. I don't know. All
Yeah.
right. Well, hey, I mean, what else? You guys got anything else on that? Anything else to make that funny too?
Oh, you want to turn this into a bit?
Yeah.
It's a tough.
Yeah, you could say. Well, I mean, look, you're gonna bring it to a screeching halt if you want me to sit here and think about,
Okay.
you
It's
know.
too hard, huh? That's too hard of a task.
I mean, you don't. Do you want to
Well,
make a joke about that
well,
subject? Do you want to even like have that in your thing? I don't know.
oh, I'm not. I'm just thinking it might be kind of a fun thought exercise. What's next? You know, we have Cruella, we have Maleficent. What's Disney going to come out with next? You know, um, you know, who was just that big giant demon guy from Fantasia. You know, the bald mountain guy. You know what I'm talking about, right?
No.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
that giant
Dude, that
gargoyle kind of.
that's so crazy that you mentioned that. Just because I like was wearing this shirt, Modus Mussorgsky and he
That's
composed the Night on Bald Mountain.
he did indeed.
It was
Wow,
in that section.
that's crazy. I didn't realize that was Mussorgsky on your shirt. But yeah, he did compose
That's
the music
wild.
to that. He composed that piece. But anyway, Night on Bald Mountain, but in Fantasia, that kind of demon looking thing. Imagine an origin story for that where they take a complicated, because that's just some giant, thing. I don't know. That would be kind of funny
Or
if
if,
that was
or if they made some sort of like teen like MTV movie for like Lizzie Borden or something.
who who's Lizzie Borden?
Isn't she the girl who hacked up her family?
Okay,
Yeah.
well there you go. There you go. What's the sympathetic angle on someone like that? I'm sure there is one actually.
Well, if you can probably find a sympathetic angle on even the worst killers. They probably a lot of the times you read about these people and they had an abusive upbringing. You know,
Hmm.
so yeah, let's focus on that.
I mean, what
It's
what
actually
if
not a bad idea because maybe if somebody is in that situation where they have an abusive upbringing, they see a movie like this, they can kind of like see the big picture of it. Like, oh, I see. I'm acting this way because that's just what I do. What I do.
what if Disney had a take on the Holocaust, or something like that?
Yeah, I thought it was good. Like it's always the ultimate villain that you can think of.
Well, what if, okay,
I
let's
don't
go
want to even
Persian.
say his name.
Don't
Okay,
even
how
say
about
his
this?
name.
Maybe that's too obvious, right? Hitler's too
Yeah.
obvious. Oh, sorry, I mentioned it. I did it for you, actually.
Ah, Jesus.
Hitler's too obvious. Whatever, right? What about a Disney take on Disney's take on the Persian Gulf War?
Mhm.
And Saddam Hussein. What about Saddam Hussein? What about that? Would be interesting. Saddam Hussein in his teenage years or something like that, or is it? What if it's a coming of age movie based on
closest-
Saddam Hussein?
Yeah, yeah. Where Saddam Hussein's a teenager.
Yeah, and he's kind of into, he's into the Who or whatever, and
Hmm.
he goes to mod hangouts and stuff. He's got his moped, and he's got his parka.
And he's just not accepted by the cool kids who have the better Vespa or whatever.
And he doesn't even have a mustache at this point, too. He's
Yeah.
all clean cut. He's got sideburns
He
actually.
can't even grow one. He's so young.
Right. It'd be kind of cool. Imagine Saddam Hussein with a pompadour.
Yeah, I mean, if you watch those Iraqi videos that we've watched, I've been checking out that channel a little bit more, Brent.
Oh
A lot of
yeah.
those kids in Iraq have the pompadour.
Oh, that's interesting. You've
Popular
been
look.
watching those videos more.
I've been getting back into it.
That's so funny. Those
Yeah,
are
me and
such funny.
Jay Weingarten were watching them last night.
Oh my god, that sounds like a fun thing to do. Just hang out and watch one of those Iraqi videos. Iraqi parties.
It is.
Have you seen those? No.
I want to know. I want to know
No.
what Nick. What do you do for? Well, first of all, I envy the fact that you live in a compound.
You?
I'm starting to think that I want to live in a compound again.
No.
I live by myself in a small house. I want to live with a bunch of people around.
You
I
do?
think-
Is that a good idea?
I think you'd kind of start to get irritated. It takes a thick skin to live with this many people for
Yeah,
this
don't
long.
you
You
can't
know?
romanticize it.
Right. It's based really out of necessity, but it does help. I mean, the skate house like is the entire reason why the company was successful. So don't knock the compound, but it's not easy.
Are you
What's the hardest part about it?
Man, it's just like
toilet paper?
Pubes.
Toilet paper's tough. Toilet paper is a tough one to be like, when you have to hold out to see who's gonna buy the toilet paper next and no one talks about it, that's tough to actually to just keep taking showers and be like, well, we'll see who buys it. I'm not buying it. I bought it the last time.
Oh,
you
my
gotta.
God.
You don't have like a chore wheel where it's like you know whose turn it is.
Now, have you seen this crew? You think we're that organized? We have a chore wheel.
So you're telling me sometimes instead of wiping, you just take a shower afterwards instead?
If I'm out of toilet paper, yeah.
Wow.
But
What about initial chunks and stuff? Yeah.
initial chunks?
Yeah. You know what I mean?
I think you just gotta just do a really thorough job. And I don't want to get into it too much, but you've never taken a shower when you're out of toilet paper?
I just make sure that never happened. Oh, actually, if that has ever happened in my life, I do recall that maybe has happened a couple times.
You
was
shower it off.
No, I was fortunate to have paper towels still, and I would use that.
And you
I
can't
always
even
gotta back
flush
up.
those,
You gotta
so that's
nap-
even
you-
more disgusting. They gotta put the shitty paper towels in the trash.
Well, I might have even gone ahead and flushed.
That's a bad boy.
I know. Hey, I'm a flawed human being, I'm a complex, flawed human being.
Mhm.
I have flushed paper towels. I don't like to do that. I'm ashamed to say I've done that. And I
go to
apologize.
plan B. I'll do the paper towel. And what you can do is kind of tear it up into smaller pieces before you use it. That way it'll flush down. It's not a big rag going down. Then I'll go to plan C, which is I usually have some napkins laying around. Napkins,
Tissue, maybe nose tissue.
I never have those. And then I'll go to plan D, which would be, okay, like, you get the silverware on a takeout. You get that little baggie.
Oh yeah, the plasticware, yeah.
Plasticware, and it's got a really bad napkin, that really tiny paper thin napkin. That's
Usually-
plan D.
And it comes with one packet of salt and pepper. So first you kind of tear through the salt and you kind of sprinkle it on the
Yeah,
turd
and
first.
by the way, that is such a waste. All those things that just get thrown out, like 1 billion of those get thrown out a day, right?
Yeah.
Like, how much salt are they mining, somewhere in some godforsaken land, and then it ends up in that little square, and someone's just like, nah, they don't even think about it. They don't even say nah. They're just like, and they just throw it out, or they don't even throw it out. Another fool has to throw it out.
When you said those utensils, I thought you were going to say you take the spork.
Well, I didn't get to plan E yet.
Oh.
Plan E is you take the spork, you take the spoon, all right, and you shave.
And you get those initial
you just
chunks
kind of
out.
scrape. You scrape around. And you do what you got to do. Plan.
Brent's really worried about the
Now
initial
here's
chunks.
another. I mean, you can go to plan F, which I think I've done this actually. It's like, okay, you looked everywhere. There's nothing, right?
You don't have the plasticware.
You
don't
got-
have paper towels.
There's no napkins. There's no paper towels.
Yep.
You got to find yourself a rag that you can sacrifice,
Old shirt, maybe.
or an old shirt. Plan G.
Yep.
I mean, I get to that before I take a shower. I'm like,
Yeah.
I can, there's a rag around here. I've had this towel here for 9 years. This can go,
Yeah.
something like that. Then you just throw it out. You dip a little bit in the water on the towel and kind of like, it's not so ragged.
Recreate that sort of bidet experience, yeah. Because the initial chunks, you're gonna want the bidet.
The initial chunks. Now, I don't understand. You know how they have like diapers for babies that are, do they still have the ones that are like recyclable? It's cloth ones, and then the truck comes and you put it in the diaper truck.
Mm-hmm.
That's a thing, right?
I never heard of
Well,
this.
there's definitely diapers that they don't give them to a truck. They just clean them themselves. They're cloth diapers that people have cloth diapers.
I think when I was younger, I remember seeing this like reusable diaper thing.
No, they definitely still
Cloth
do that.
diapers. Yeah. I
But they
think when I
don't-
was a kid, I had the cloth. I didn't get those damn Huggies.
Really? You didn't do that?
And then my mom put them in like a plastic, you know, um, what's it called? A hamper with a lid, you know? But what happens to all those soiled diapers? Where do they go?
Well, they get cleaned. I guess
I
in the
know, but
washing
where
machine. The washing machine?
where do
Ugh. Just think about that. Your clothes were being washed in poo, basically.
Yeah.
All those initial chunks were all in the washing machine there.
Oh man.
But anyway,
I mean, this is something we got to think about if we're going to have a kid one day, you know?
if you and I are gonna have a kid together.
Yeah, if
you
we're going to
know?
have our 2 men and a baby.
Plan H.
Plan H.
Mhm.
Dude, that's when you grab the cat.
You know, okay, you're thinking about these plans that are kind of deep into the alphabet, but let's think about. I'm curious about what Plan Z and Plan Y gets at. You know, the absolute last option, Plan Z, has got to be you just cut your butt off, or something like that. What's the
Yeah.
worst? What's the
Very last, you're
the
just
very
jumping
last
to the very
resort? You know,
extreme.
is you just get rid of your butt, basically.
No,
Yeah.
you just take your pants
You
off.
sew it up. Yeah.
No, you just no wipe. It's just you just walk away.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Plan Z is you just walk away.
Yeah, you're not
You
going to
just-
cut your butt off.
Okay,
That's-
that's Plan
That's
Y. No,
plan
plan
Z
Y.
A.
you just
Plan
walk
Y
away.
Is, plan Y is that you cut your butt off.
Yeah, you just cut your butt off. That's just what you got to do. You just walk away. That's what I do.
People said, "Why'd you cut your butt off?" You said, "That's just what I do."
That's just what I do.
You think
But
it'd be
first,
better?
you got to tattoo top bear on your butt, and you have to put, the top is on one cheek and bear is on the second cheek.
Do you think it'd be better to super glue your cheeks together or to actually try to sew the
I would
whole
say I think that's probably going to be Plan X. Is you super glue? No, super glue would be. I think sewing would be after that. So the sewing is going to be Plan X. Plan W will probably be super glue.
Yeah, that's like around like Q for me.
Oh, that's funny. Super gluing my cheeks. Yeah, that for me, that's probably Plan Q. Oh yeah, no, for me, that's actually higher up. That's like Plan L. I'm kind of more into that than most people. It's what's funny is, okay, this is how you do this. You describe something kind of somewhat nasty and you decide where on the plan scale it is for you. So for example, I don't know, what's an example of that? Eating something off the ground,
Mhm.
is that, or eating something from the trash, where's that on the plan scale for you? Is that
That's my go-to. That's right in the ABC range.
Oh, that's ABC range? Okay, yeah. Because for me, that's probably kind of,
You never dumpster dived in your
Well,
life?
well, not for me. I did it for other people.
You did? Who did you dive for?
What my sister and I were kind of just curious. We had heard about dumpster diving, and we went into it was Christmas Eve, and we went dumpster diving just to see what was in the dumpster, because we heard that stores throw out good stuff that is totally eatable,
Yep.
edible, and we went in there and we found some packaged stuff that looked like it was good, but we didn't take it home with us, but we gave it to some homeless people. But they didn't even
Tell
want
them
it.
this is from the dumpster?
No, we didn't, but it looked good, and
Homeless
look-
people never want food.
it looked good, and it wasn't
Yeah, they
on-
don't want food usually.
and it wasn't, the dates on it looked good too, and the dates were good. The food looked good, so we just asked them, do you want this? But they didn't want it. Yeah.
What's it like living in Boston? Do you
Boston,
live there, and
Massachusetts?
do you want to stay? Are you going to stay there forever because you love it?
I might. People always tell me to, my friends who did the natural move to either LA to New York, always tell me how much better it is living in LA or New York. Like it's the thing to do, But I don't see any reason to leave because I mean, I grew up here, and obviously, my family's close to here, but the fact that I've all of my friends, in this compound, why would I even have a reason to leave if that was the case? I mean, because I used to say to Orange Man that I would travel to cities and then I'd be like, oh yeah, this city is exactly, cities are all pretty much the same with little minor differences.
Yeah, I
So I'd
agree.
be like, if every place I think kind of sucks, then why wouldn't I just be where my friends are? So that's why I stay in Boston.
Yeah, I mean,
I would never say that you should move to LA or New York. I think it's cool that you live in Boston and there's like,
well, if everything you have is there, everything you want to do is there, there is no point in moving, really.
Right.
And if you feel at home there too,
it probably sucks to skate in the winter though. How do you do that?
Yeah, it's terrible. You just layer up and then you find try to find a dry spot like a parking garage or something, but it is tough. You definitely don't skate as much in the winter. And that's part of the reason why I try to get the job at the airport so I could try to get out of here in the wintertime. But
Are you allowed to get free international flights too?
yeah, you just have to pay the taxes on the ticket.
Cool.
Well, anytime you want to fly here and skate my DIY quarter pipe, go for it. You're welcome.
Definitely. Did you build that yourself? That's a DIY quarter pipe?
I didn't do it myself, but
So you're using the words DIY very liberally.
well, it's not a city sanctioned, it's
I
designed it. I cut the transitions and I told the concrete guy how to do it.
He executive produced it.
I executive produced it.
Okay.
He EPDYI'd it.
No, I'd love to skate that quarter pipe. That's the kind of size quarter pipe I'm talking about that I wanted to have.
Tall, 2 feet. Yeah, that's what I like.
Perfect.
2 feet or less.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Babies.
Skate parks suck mostly. Mostly there's like, they're all the same and they're all like super huge. They're for like X game pros.
Yeah.
I want some shit that's just chill that I can dork around on.
How come when you came to Boston, you didn't go on any duck tours or anything? You didn't even want to go to Cheers? You didn't want to get your picture taken next to the Fraser Crane, Kelsey Grammer cutout at Cheers?
Me and Brent went to Cheers.
Oh, you did?
Didn't we, Brent?
I feel like we must have, right?
Well, you and I were walking around somewhere. We did. I thought
you told me that you snuck into classes at Harvard.
Did we do that?
Or is that a joke?
I think I would like to have done that. Did we get to do that? That would
I don't
be
think
cool.
we did that.
Here's what we do, Doug. If we go back to Boston together, let's go to Harvard, take a class. And what I mean by that is let's just sit in on a class. It might be kind of interesting. Let's just see what the quality is like at Harvard. What is their level? I'm just curious how that compares to other, schools I've been to. So we'll audit a class. We will go to Cheers. We'll take the picture with Kelsey Grammer. Cut out.
Thank God.
Or maybe, hopefully, the real thing if he's there for some reason.
Yeah. During the holidays he visits. Yeah.
He visits Ted Danson.
Yeah.
During the holidays.
Yeah.
And what else should we do there? We can go probably. Might as well go to check out MIT.
Yeah, I guess it's just schools and like crap from Faneuil Hall, like telling you it's like the American Revolution, the Boston Massacre,
Hey, is there a site where the Boston Tea Party took place?
There must be. I don't know it though. I'm assuming it's by the aquarium though.
Is there a site where the Boston Low Tea Party took place?
Yeah, I think a site. Yeah, I think it's meatspin.com.
That would be a great. I'm sure they have it, but a tea place that takes place where the Boston Tea Party happened.
Good point. I don't know if they do.
They would call it the Boston Tea Party. It's perfect.
It's right there where the boats are. So I don't know. You can really have a place where there's a boat.
Sure, you could. Maybe have it on a boat, or on it. It's a floating thing. It's a floating place.
Yeah,
You get tea at high tea. Um,
it's a good
so
idea.
so look, here's a question that was asked a couple episodes ago, I think, and we didn't ever answered it, and maybe all three of us can answer it.
Mhm.
And the question that was asked was, can you recall a time when can you tell a story about you getting lost and finding your way?
Are they talking literally or figuratively?
I think either. I think.
Hmm. I mean,
I think they're asking literally. I mean,
oh, they are asking literally.
Or whatever. I think it's open to interpretation. Whatever.
I thought you were going to ask
wanna
the
share.
question that they asked about music or something.
No, I think we should do that during the After Dark section, because if we want to pull up music, it'll be better if that doesn't get
Well,
flagged.
my answer for this is an After Dark answer.
Oh, really?
I've told this story somewhere. I feel like I've told it on here before.
It's an After Dark answer. What is
Basically,
it?
I got lost.
You were trying to find the G spot and you couldn't, and then you finally found it or something. It's After Dark answer.
I got lost and I peed in my pants.
Oh,
I'll tell you about this in the After Dark section.
Okay. How about you? And then I have one as well. I thought of one, but yeah.
having gotten lost. You know,
You don't get lost, do you?
no, I do, but when I do, I pull up my maps, my Google Maps app, and it really helps out a lot. So, it's just it doesn't make for an interesting story.
No, that's what you say. No, well, look, this is how you got to make it interesting. It's like this. You go, well, there was one time I was trying to go to my friend's house. I was completely lost. I didn't know where I was. So this is what I did. I got out my cell phone and I have this program called Google Maps. What I can do is I can go on there and I can figure out where I am and where I need to be. And it told me exactly where to go. And so I followed the trail and I ended up at my friend's house. It was crazy.
The question is, I wanted to know if you all have ever gotten extremely lost and how you made it back. It happened to me recently. So no one's. Do you have a story like that, Nick, by chance?
You know, it sounds like they're talking on a spiritual level, is what I'm hearing.
Well, yeah. Well, I have one that was physical.
All right, well, let's hear it, Brent.
Well, it goes a little something like this. So I traveled to Ukraine when I was 22, and I went by myself, and I stayed with a host family. By family, I mean it was just a husband and wife, and they had a daughter who was around my age. And I kind of thought, interesting that they have a daughter that's around my age. But apparently when I got there, she had been married off to a different traveler a year or so before I got there. And I guess they hadn't updated their system. Not that I was going there to try to find a Ukrainian wife, but anyway, that's not even part of the story. So I was staying in this place. All the buildings look very similar there. You know, it's the Soviet architecture. And I thought I had seen where I was. So they were on the outskirts of the city, and I remember leaving for the day, and I saw the building and I saw the floor and the place where they live, and I thought, I got this. It was in a building, and I thought, okay, I got this. And I didn't bring with me the address or anything like that. So I left for the day, did my business in Kiev, and then I came back at night, and I went to what I thought was the building, but I realized they all look the same, and every floor looks the same. Everything looks the same. And I couldn't find where I was going, and I was knocking on the doors, and I thought, I don't know if this is even the place. And I was anyway, I was very lost. I didn't know where I was, and I was on the outskirts of Kiev, and I didn't know where I was. Now, look, my plan C or whatever, I don't know, my plan B was well, I'm gonna wander around a little bit, but worst case scenario is I take the train back into the city, which would have taken probably 40 minutes or something like that, or I don't know, something like that. Gone to find a hotel, a nice hotel, and see if I could use the internet there or something like that, and get the address or get a hold of the people that I was staying with. But it was getting kind of late. Anyway, and it was kind of a sketchy area, by the way. I saw these people who looked approachable, and I started trying to ask them. I don't know what I was trying to ask them actually, but this other guy walked by and he said, "Oh, hey, do you need help?" He had an American accent. I said, it was so bizarre. This is in the middle of kind of nowhere in a way. And this guy said, "Oh yeah, I can help you out." I said, "Oh, where are you from?" He's like, "Oh, I'm from Tennessee," or something like that. He was from somewhere in the United States. I said, "Yeah, I do need help. I'm lost, and I couldn't find my place where I'm staying." He said, "Yeah, you want to come up to my apartment? You can, use the computer there if you want or whatever." I said, "All right." He seemed trustworthy. Went up there. Apparently, he was running this thing with other people up there. It was a thing to sort of stop human trafficking, and it was some kind of coalition of sorts. And there was a group of 4 people up there, men and women, kind of working together. And I used their computer, and it was just the odds of that being there in this part of town was just so slim. It was so bizarre. But I got the address, realized I was one building off, but every building looked the same. Anyway, I went in there. The parents were worried about me because it was pretty late at this point. Oh, by the way, that's the other part. It was late at night too. Anyway, this is not an interesting story. I'm sorry I even told it and brought it up.
I think it's interesting. I think that's a cool coincidence that you found people that are like fighting human trafficking of all the people to like, it's sort of like being like, you're hungry and you're starving and you're like, and someone's like, "Excuse me, are you hungry?" And you're like, "Yeah, oh my God, I'm so starving." They're like, "Come upstairs. I'm a chef and I have like it was like, it's like a coincidence like that."
It was just totally bizarre that there was I just luckily ran into this the guy from the United States that happened to be there. Totally bizarre, very random. Like I said, the backup plan would have been I eventually would have made my way back into the city center and found a hotel where I could have accessed the internet. But
Thank God you found a fellow American.
Let's wrap up the episode. Thanks for doing this, Nick. You're gonna stick around for the after dark section?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Cool. That's when it's gonna really take off, I think.
That's what I was thinking. This is actually the first time I've been a guest on a podcast, even though I've done, almost over 70 episodes of the Fancy Lad podcast. But this is the first time I've been a guest, so this is quite the honor.
And I've been on your podcast.
I know.
Well, is that podcast still going?
Yeah. Well, you're not a regular listener?
Plug it.
All right.
Let's hear all your plugs. Plug all your stuff real quick.
I'm going to plug all my stuff. All right. So follow Fancy Lad Skate Co. That's most important. That's the root of it all. At, Fancy Lad Skate Co. on Instagram. You're also going to want to, if you're a fan of the podcasts, follow Fancy Lad Podcast on Instagram at Fancy Lad Podcast. Now, you don't need to follow my personal account. That's fine. But I'm going to mention anyway. Big Zo Goes to Hell.
If you want to go hardcore.
Big Zo Goes to Hell.
But you can also follow my Beats by Big at mechanical_noose on Instagram. Mechanical Noose was taken. I know that's crazy, but what are you going to do?
How is the one that was taken another band called Mechanical Noose?
No, it was a fucking gamer who has like a Twitch called Mechanical Noose. And I was like, what the hell are the odds of this?
What are the odds? How did you come up with that name for your music?
I was trying to think of, I was playing in a band with my roommates, and we were trying to think of a name for, we were called Sick Fuck for a while, and then we almost kind of started calling ourselves Evil Twin, and then we just kept coming up with name after name, and everyone I started pitching, no one liked, or not even no one liked, but maybe 1 or 2 people didn't like. but one of them was Mechanical Noose, and the other one was Wacky Death. And I decided to go with Mechanical Noose for the electronic music because mechanical electronic seems fitting.
Mechanical Noose
Absolutely.
sounds like an industrial goth outfit. You know what I mean?
That's why I wanted to call it that too, because when Doug was talking about why he followed Mechanical Noose, he said it sounded like a band that he never heard of. That's why I wanted to call it that, because I was inspired. I was like started also making it because I was listening to Closer by 9 Inch Nails.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I think I can do something like this. And, at the beginning, it was just Trent Reznor, but I like that he didn't just go by Trent Reznor, that he actually called himself 9 Inch Nails like he was a band.
So really, was the beginning of 9 Inch Nails just Trent Reznor in the beginning?
Yeah, it was all him.
Oh, that's interesting. But then by the time that Pig song came about, that there was a band, right?
No, that was all him as well. He just
Really?
had a band to tour and play as a backing band when they
Oh,
went on
and to
tour.
appear in the music video as well, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. So
Oh, I
yeah,
didn't know
because
that.
because he has to play studio musicians to actually play the music with them.
Right, I didn't know that. Wow, I did not know that.
Well, Big Zo, do you have any words of wisdom or anything you'd like to say before we go to the After Dark? What would you
Words
like
of
to let the
wisdom.
kids know about? Because a lot of people look up to you and they look up to Fancy Lad. I sure do. And
It's true.
you make your videos make me happy and they get me stoked. Stoked is a feeling. Some people watch. If you're not a skater, I wonder if you get stoked. Like do
Well,
people get
surfers
stoked?
definitely get stoked.
Well,
Mhm.
of course there's just those are brotherly sport. Those are brotherly things. Do people get stoked?
I was gonna say comedians must get stoked because you're just stoking the flames. I mean, you must get actually something must inspire you to
Yeah, but
want to
okay,
create
comedians
comedy.
aren't watching other stand-up specials and being like, I can't wait to watch the new stand-up special. I got to get stoked and see what jokes they're telling. But for skaters, you want to see the new Thrasher videos every day just to get stoked and see what tricks are people doing.
No. I haven't watched a Thrasher video in God knows how long. Honestly, I haven't been. I mean, I used to watch them growing up to get stoked because you're an underdeveloped brain and you everything you see is going to be amazing to you. But you must somehow. Well, no, you've probably been in the game so long. That's the same thing for you with comedy. Like you probably are never going to a comedy show and being like, having your mind blown like, oh my God, I can't believe that guy just made that joke,
Well, I think I get stoked, and I guess we do. I could answer this, but I was hoping Brent could answer. Does he what gets him stoked? Or is that an emotion that only skaters and surfers get?
Dude, I get stoked when I eat certain foods, man. I got stoked on this this gnocchi that I got from this place. I'm gonna take you, Doug. Let's go.
Yeah, but when I'm talking about stoked, I mean stoked as like when I watch a video, right? A skate video that's awesome, like a Fancy Lad video, it makes me want to go skate. So that's what I think of as being like stoked. Like,
yeah,
it makes me want to do. So like you can't eat gnocchi and be like, I want to make. If you're getting stoked from gnocchi, that'll make you want to be like, I gotta make this gnocchi. I want to make food like that's good.
It got me stoked to the point to make me say, I want to bring someone else to this to try this. I'm gonna get it again. I'm coming back.
All right, maybe that works. I don't know.
But comedy, I mean, I don't know. I like to watch comedy. I like to laugh. I love to laugh.
What makes you laugh the hardest though?
Just good, funny stuff, I laugh a lot on this podcast.
America's Funniest Home Videos.
Oh, that kind of stuff. I mean, Bob Saget, man,
it ain't
funny
bad.
guy.
Brent and I have been writing this movie, and that's been making me laugh a lot. And we've been we have been filming our writing sessions. Like except yesterday we met at a restaurant to write. But I remember like I was in tears yesterday just with.
We laugh.
You
I
know what we
laugh a-
should do? A good podcast idea is just write a movie and film it. And like that's the podcast. You know?
That's not bad.
Interesting.
Don't you think I don't know. I'm always envious of you comedy figures. Okay. That's what I wish that I did with my life, but I chose a different path. But don't you think that, if you're writing a movie, don't you think once you write the joke, it actually becomes stale and dead? And you need to have that sort of podcast format to have it be somewhat spontaneous, to keep a sort of energy for the jokes,
I got a great answer for you. The joke becomes new anytime you tell it to somebody who hasn't heard it. So, one might get sick of their jokes, but if there's a new audience that hasn't heard it, it revitalizes the joke. And even jokes you've been telling so much. I remember telling a joke that I was very used to, but I remember this one guy's response in the audience was so lively, and he was laughing at it in a way that it really reminded me of hearing it for the first time in a way that it made me laugh. I started laughing. I started thinking, this is funny.
It made you a virgin again on that joke.
It's kind of a thing, it was a vaginal rejuvenation on my joke.
Yeah.
It was penile rejuvenation. Can a penis be rejuvenated also?
Look, we got to go to the After Dark section. I don't know if
we'll go. Let's go to the After Dark section.
Okay, let me just tease. Oh yeah.
Okay, say
for the words of wisdom, and I was inspired by you talking about cooking for things that stoke you up. Everybody should just, everybody listening out there, try to forge your own path and be your own individual as much as you can. I know it's cliche to say, but just real quick, one of the writers, Eric, I saw him one time cutting an avocado, not vertically, but horizontally. And I asked him, why is he doing that? And he said, that's his way of being creative. That's his outlet. So it's not tied down to anything. It expands your mind, man.
It all comes back to what Doug's dad said. You basically do what stokes you most.
Yeah.
And if anybody questions it, you just say, that's just what I do.
That's just what I do. I love that.
And I'm going to just tease this. We're going to talk about music that gives you chills, bad and good, on After Dark.
I'm going to tell my story of when I got lost and I peed in my pants. And I'm also going to talk. I like what you just said about adding creativity to anything you do. Just try to do it creative, even if it's cutting an avocado the wrong way.
That's what I'm saying.
All right. Thanks, Nick.
And thanks to Chloe Bonilla, Jack Birch, who is El Bircho on social media, and Jackie Montana for their help. They are the Poundcast team. And if you want to continue listening and you want to hear about those things we just mentioned, patreon.com/Poundcast.
That's right. Get on our Poundcast Patreon and be a real pimple. And we'll see you there.
We'll see you there. And thanks again, Nick, for being here.
Thanks, Nick.
Hey, thanks for having me, and keep on rocking in the free world.
Peace.